Bitcoin is trying to warn us with this bounce from this huge horizontal support level on the daily time frame. This is a very crucial level and we don't want to see lower levels, otherwise we will drop below the $50,000. In today's video I'm going to tell you exactly what we can expect for this coming week and how you can prepare yourself for what's coming. I also have a look at the two altcoins Cardano and XRP, but about that later in the video. There's a lot of interesting data coming into the market which I want to talk with you about. So watch this video all the way to the end, like the video, and let's dive right into the charts. On the daily time frame, Bitcoin is warning us big time because we can see a huge horizontal support is coming into play. We can see multiple touch points here in the past as support, and now we're seeing a bit of a bounce from this level already. So this is beautiful to see. But we can also see this huge downtrend unfolding for the daily time frame for Bitcoin, and this is looking a little bit more bearish. So we are seeing diminishing highs, lower highs, and we are seeing equal lows. So this could mean that we're going to see a huge break in the coming weeks. So we want to gain this previous high, create a higher high, and from there we want to see this trend reversal for Bitcoin happening, and that of course will have a bullish effect on the price of Bitcoin. So for now the trend is still down, so let's see what Bitcoin can do in the coming days and weeks and if we're going to see a trend reversal soon. So for now we are at this lower side support region and we need to hold this level, because if Bitcoin falls below this huge support area on the daily time frame, we will see levels below the $50,000 again, and that is of course very bearish. Bitcoin opened the CME gap at around the $52,800 and $58,000. And currently we saw that we were trading above the CME gap in the weekend and we didn't actually come back. We only traded again to the top side. So I think Bitcoin will close the gap earlier in this beginning of the week, and that will be good to see, because we don't want to leave any gaps open, because a lot of people are trading around these gaps, and I think if we're coming to this gap, we could potentially see a nice bounce from this level. So I think Bitcoin will close this gap earlier this week, and let's see what kind of price effects that will bring us for Bitcoin. And some interesting data is coming into the market. I want to have a look at the Bitcoin stock to flow model. Here you can see the colors in the chart, and the colors mean how long it takes for the Bitcoin halving to come again. But as you can see, Bitcoin always came to this median price around this bull cycle, and currently we are at the beginning stages of this huge pump to the top side, just like we saw in the last previous cycles. So let's see if Bitcoin can come back to this median price, and this median price will be around the $444,000, and that is of course an insane target, but this is a very realistic target actually. And as we can see, we also pumped above this median price, so let's see if Bitcoin can also pump above the median price, and of course this could happen maybe in the coming year, and eventually every time we touch this high, it was 1 year after the halving, so this could potentially also occur in the beginning of 2025. So if Bitcoin is going to create a new all-time high after 1 year after the Bitcoin halving of this year, it will be in April 2025. So potentially we could see a huge rise for Bitcoin and create this all-time high in April 2025. And if we're going to see prices around the $400,000, that would of course be very insane. And let me know in the comments what you think about this stock to flow model, and if you think we are going to see levels around the $400,000 for Bitcoin in 2025. And if we then have a look on the Bitcoin daily chart, we can see a beautiful consolidation formation for Bitcoin unfolding. On the top side we can see multiple touch points here as resistance, and on the downside we can see a lot of touch points as support, and every time we touch this support to the lower side we saw a nice bounce occurring. So let's see if we can see another beautiful bounce to the top side, and if Bitcoin can create more upside momentum from here and come to this top side resistance again, that means that we will see levels around the $59,000 or $60,000 again, and of course that will be having a little bit of more of a bullish sentiment for now, because we are at the lows now, and we want to see that clear bounce from the lower side support, and eventually this price is getting squeezed into this apex, and the apex is due at the end of this year. So of course we could also see a lot of sideways price action for the coming year, but we want to see it break to the top side eventually, a retest of the previous resistance to turn it into support, and from here we can aim for higher targets, and eventually this huge horizontal resistance will be the big resistance for Bitcoin to break, that will be around the $72,000. And if we are breaking this big horizontal resistance to the top side, then we can aim for new all-time highs. And the big date to look forward to is the 18th of September, because then the Fed will have another FOMC meeting and the rate cut probabilities are increasing. But there's also a 29% rate cut probability that we are going to see a 50 basis point rate cut. And this will pump a lot of liquidity into the market because loans are getting less and less expensive. And this will bring more money into the economy, which will pump up the price of assets. And we're also seeing a 71% rate cut probability that we're going to see a 25% basis point rate cut. And this, of course, would also be very bullish. So I think in the coming markets, a lot of liquidity will come into the market and this will pump up the price of assets. Another interesting chart to look at is this horizontal resistance and support level chart. I'm discussing this chart a lot with you. And last week we came all the way to this huge support to the downside around the $52,000, and here we can see a clear bounce from this level. So this was a very interesting level to maybe buy some more Bitcoin for the long term. So for now we want to gain this level again because this was previous support and I think we could potentially retest it as resistance. But let's see if Bitcoin can regain this level and create more topside momentum, because that is actually exactly what we want to see. And as I was saying, we are in this downtrend on the daily time frame. We can see lower highs but also lower lows, and this is looking very bearish because we are in this huge downtrend and eventually we want to see a trend reversal for Bitcoin happening on the daily time frame, and that will bring us to new highs. But for now we are at these lower stages and we want to see a formation unfolding that we're going to see a potential trend reversal for Bitcoin on the daily time frame. And the first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Cardano. I've been monitoring Cardano with you since we were in this huge consolidation pattern to the downside, and this falling wedge formation has a lot of interesting touch points on the top side as resistance and on the downside as support. And we are also seeing this huge horizontal support going into play, and last week we saw another huge bounce from this level. So this was a very interesting place to accumulate, as I was been saying on my socials, and I've been warning you about this bounce. And if we are looking at the future price action, we can also see a lot of interesting price action here in the past on this huge horizontal level. So once again, we are seeing a nice bounce from this level. But if we zoom in on the daily time frame, we can see this huge formation unfolding, and this falling wedge formation is a bullish biased pattern which tends to break to the top side more often. So let's see if Cardano can revisit this top side resistance again. And of course, we want to eventually see a break of this falling wedge formation, and we want to see a bullish break. Then we have to wait for a retest of the previous resistance to turn it into support, and from there we can aim for higher targets. And Cardano hasn't been very optimal this bull run yet, but I think Cardano will reach levels around the previous all-time high, and that will be around the $3. And of course we could also see levels around the $6 for Cardano this bull run, and that will be a 20x from here. So I think buying at these lower side regions and at this lower side support will be a very good and smart thing to do for the long term. Another interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is XRP. XRP is in this huge consolidation on the daily time frame. We can see multiple touch points here on the top side as resistance and 3 touch points on the lower side as support. And this huge formation on the daily time frame will soon break out for XRP. So of course we want to see a bullish break. So let's see if XRP can revisit this top side resistance and eventually force a break to the top side. And this will have a very bullish effect on the price of XRP, of course. But for now we are at this lower side support, so we want to see this uptrend is being respected and that we're going to see more price action to the top side here. And if we have a look on the weekly time frame, we can see that XRP is in this huge consolidation formation. We can see a lot of touch points here on the lower side and on the top side. And eventually this formation with this sideways price action is eventually going to break out after this price squeeze. And we are already for 144 weeks inside of this consolidation. So I think this will be one of the biggest consolidation in crypto ever. And we are inside of this formation since the beginning of December 2021. So that's over 2.5 years now. And if we're going to break bullish of this formation, retest the previous resistance as support and then aim for higher targets, then the breakout target will be confluent with the top side of the formation, and that will be around the 92 cents. And that will be a very bullish target for XRP to reach. But for now we are inside of this huge consolidation pattern. So let's see if we're going to see a breakout in the coming weeks. Please give a like if you find the video useful, follow me on my socials, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.